All right, so we just finished the video, and we decided we'd just start out by talking about, at the very end, he talks about the means to accomplishing development and then the goals that we set. I think that's what he meant. And they were like inverted. Like the means that are the most helpful for development are the ones that we're setting the least amount of goals. And then the ones that have the least amount of like contribution or impact to development are the ones that we are setting a lot of goals on. Actually, I'm kind of confused about what he meant by goals anyway. Like, what did he mean? Like, those are the ones we're setting goals for? Or was it like...
Those might be the most imperative, like in the future, the goals that we need to make, because economy's not going to matter as much in 50 years if your environment is shot and the world that you're leaving behind to your posterity is gone. That's not as, I mean, right now we're looking at the means, what we need right now, which is they do need education, and they need the economy, they need growth in that. But as a country or as a people, human rights ranks higher, and the environment and the health and culture rank higher, because that's what will be. It's just deemed what's important now and what's important later. And I think the means is what's important now. The goals are kind of what's important.
And I think I was thinking about that because it's very true. If you have a good government and a good economy, like the government exit, for example, should be setting those kind of goals to help with human rights and culture and the environment and health. But before you can set those goals, I think you really need, like you said, you have to get a good government, basically, and the economy.
So I guess you have to find a balance and try and get those first, those the goals that they were, or the means that they were talking about first, in order to achieve the goals later.
I think another thing he was getting at, just by the way he described the goals, was that the things that we tend to set a lot of goals in, like ones that were really high, like, well, there was human rights and, culture, yeah. And also the environment was one of the ones that had higher goals. And, what am I trying to say here? Gosh. Well, the thing is it's like those are things that are a lot easier to quantify goals as. Like, it's easier to accomplish those goals because, like, you can talk about them. I think it's a little bit more difficult to, like, help somebody have stronger government, like help somebody else have stronger government.
It's easier to measure economic growth. It's easier to measure educational goals or health. It's hard to measure culturally how you're progressing. It's hard to measure how your human rights are progressing. Another thing I thought was interesting was on his graph, on his statistics, the United States, we rank very, very high in economic growth. However, we're about the same in health-wise as, I don't remember what country it was, but yeah, with another country that they reached in like years before us.
Right.
So the thing we put emphasis on is economic growth, but what does it matter if you're rich, if you're dead, you know? So sometimes our priorities need to change, and that's where the goals and means, I think, would switch
Well, at the same time, like in the extreme poverty example, like sometimes you die because you have no money. I mean, like money would save you from dying in some cases too. I think it depends on what edge you're on, like the swing of the pendulum.
I think it's still going. It's still going there.
Okay, we're still going. Okay. One thing I just wanted to point out that I thought was kind of interesting was that the nature of his graphs. He's comparing one thing in one hand and one in the other, and it kind of starts to make you like ask like what's more important. Like, for example, like GDP, which is like your more economic growth versus mortality, right? And so it's kind of like, depending on where the country is, you kind of have to decide for yourself like which one really should take a priority.
And it's nice to see that as the years progress, we progress, and we improve our mortality rate, we improve our economical growth, but at the same time it costs. And so from that we see the carbon emissions that we're producing from that. So even though we're rising in some things, other things are rising that are kind of not beneficial.
Right. he was like very vocal about the impossible is possible. Like you can't attain the impossible situation, which like I love that message, but I'm kind of left after the video wondering like, okay, well like how can we balance growth of everything else and carbon emission? Like where is the like the clear possible path through that impossible dilemma? Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think the only way that we can really measure that is you see that when people get better in the economy, they get the new technologies, and those new technologies have things that cause problems with climate, like cars, for example. I think that's the biggest thing, is our cars and buildings, that factories that emit all this stuff into the sky. So whenever they go up in production and stuff like that, they go lower in climate.
But he was talking about what gets you out of poverty and what keeps you away from poverty. What gets you out is technology. What keeps you away is markets. But with that comes it's the cost of the environment.
Yeah.
So, in order to get out of poverty, you're going to have to put environment into poverty. That's pretty deep.
That was deep. We should write that down. Well, I guess it's there.
Yeah. Are we done recording?
I just have one more thing. Yeah, we are done. There's one more thing I thought was really interesting that I wanted to say. It was about that poverty time. They showed like Africa with that much money per day and that much money per day and that much money per day. And there was a huge difference. So it's amazing to see that.
Even $1.
Well,
Yeah.
you think like $3 is 3 times more money than
Yeah,
$1.
that's true. But still, in perspective to us, we're like, I'm not sleeping on a dirt floor. In comparison, so they are improving, and it's nice to see the improvements that come from even such small means. But there's a long way to go.
It was also kind of like, it was pretty cool and inspiring how he said like Africa's probably been like the best in progress last 50 years, but we don't notice it because you have to look at where they come from. So they are making some like, they're improving way faster. But that's kind of the nature of improvement. The better you get, the less and less you improve as time goes on. Yeah, like it's a steeper and steeper climb the farther you go. But yeah.
I guess wrap it up.
Yeah, just the trick is to find the equality between the two, which we're trying to get there. But yeah. Okay.